Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I'm gonna pose a few questions that I would so much love to pose to my peers, my colleagues, friends that I meet up to play board games, or even a stranger at a shopping mall when I see it. I would so much love to hear people's answers, and so I'm going to pose them on here because if you're not comfortable answering uncomfortable questions, you can feel free to close the video. That way I don't get too many angry answers, because when I ask these questions in public, I tend to only get anger instead of real information, which could be very helpful, not only to myself, but to the person who might be doing something that even they don't understand why they're doing it, right? So, okay, with that in mind, let's pose the questions. So, why do you eat so fast? Like, I go to the shopping mall and I sit down in the food court, I go to the break room at the office, or even when I go to a so-called health food store. We have Whole Foods, we have Sprouts Farmers Market here. People eat at a very dizzying rate, and it's almost like they're like using their mouth as a shredder. I hate to comment too much on what I see here. I'll let you go to your local store, especially if you live in a big city, or even a relatively mid-sized city like Phoenix, Arizona, right? Especially if you live in a big city like Seattle, or Los Angeles, or New York, or a big city in the United States, I want to say. I've been to other big cities around the world. I don't seem to recall people doing that. I've been to Tokyo. People eat much more elegantly over there. I can kind of remember how people eat in Taipei. You cannot imagine somebody taking a big bite out of a hot dog, unless it's a tourist, right? You cannot imagine a local over there eating like that. Even tourists would be embarrassed about doing that, I want to say. I know I eat a lot more humbly when I travel to Taiwan, that's for sure. Now, on the flip side of that question, a lot of people might be upset that I'm commenting on their eating speed. Why can't we openly comment? I would so much love if somebody commented on something I was doing so that I could correct myself. So let me give you an example. I love to make art out of different metals, as you guys have seen. Now, when you melt various metals, a bunch of it oxidizes into a slag, and I really hate to throw away slag, and so I usually use some kind of chemistry to turn that back into solid metal. Right? With bismuth, tin, antimony, a carbothermal reduction will do. I haven't figured out what to do with the zinc, but the zinc slag I make other art out of, right? I just hate to throw any of those metals away. And one time I had done this with, I had a tin antimony alloy, and I hadn't realized how badly it made all my clothes stink. I was living in an Airbnb. I might not have had very good ventilation when I was doing that. I mean, I left the place because that reaction makes a lot of carbon monoxide, but it caused all my clothes in the room to stink. And I thought I had washed my clothes when I got back, but some of those odors you get used to and you don't realize it. And I must have walked around with that kind of odor for days until I had a good friend who commented about how I smelled, and I discovered that antimony makes basically a compound similar to ammonia. Instead of NH3, it's SBH3. And I was walking around with that odor for God knows how long until somebody let me know about that. And then I did a little bit more reading and discovered what it was. But why can't we have open discussions, right? Bad smell was only one issue that could come up, right? So I work at a community college right now. I would so much love if somebody would comment if I had food stuck in my mouth, or smelled bad, or something, right? Maybe a wardrobe malfunction that I'm not attuned to, my clothes ripped or something like that. It happens, right? Or something, maybe I'm misusing a phrase or something and it's insulting, right? I've had times where I've done that. you get the idea, right? Why can't we openly comment, right? I mean, certainly if there's if there's nothing you can change about it, then don't comment, right? For example, if I see somebody with a disability that they can't adjust, right? Then yeah, I can totally get behind not commenting on that, right? But if it's something that somebody could adjust to, like for example their chemistry experiment stinking up their clothes, comment on it. They're eating too fast, comment on it. They can do something about it. Anyway, why do you, speaking of eating, I hate people who eat while they drive. I was dating a girl who made it a habit to eat behind the wheel, and it scared the hell out of me how she drove. And sometimes I see bad drivers on the road. Actually, earlier today, I saw somebody who was distracted, but I don't know by what. I was just about to merge into a highway. The driver next to me seems to slow down, but as I cross over the line, I realized, oh, he's not slowing down, and I retreated. I opened the window to give him a Peter dislike finger, but as I did that, I noticed he was distracted, but not by your typical distractions. He didn't have a phone out. He was staring into space. It was weird. He didn't have a passenger in the car or anything. He was just staring right into space. I mean, why? And I don't understand. So, all right. These are questions I love to ask while they're happening, right? I would so much love to be able to follow that guy home and ask him why he was staring into space while driving or eating while driving. I would so much love to go up to everybody at the food court at the shopping mall and ask them why they need to eat so fast, right? Of course, if I do ask, first of all, oftentimes people get angry. And then second of all, people have a million different excuses, right? Their kids are home alone, they need to race home because they're worried that their kids are going to get kidnapped. They have important phone calls to make. You get the idea, right? Their spouse is cheating, they got to follow up on them after lunch. You get the idea, and they're not worried about giving themselves heart disease, right? And they're worried about all these little trivial things that might go wrong, right? All right. Feel free to if there's something off that I'm doing, feel free to comment as well. This is the Peter Y Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Show. Bum 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 bum.